Hi everyone, and welcome back to Creative Chelsea. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up or commenting below. If you want to see more of my videos, press the subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products to make these cards, you can visit my online store. The link is in the description box below. Today I wanted to share with you how I created 2 cards using one pattern, as well as I wanted to let you know about some really great products that will be retiring, and the last day to get them is June 2nd, 2020. So today I'll be using some stamp sets that accompany card kits that Stampin' Up! Is selling, and both card kits are currently available, but on June 2nd they will not be. And so the first card kit I wanted to show you is called For the Love of Felt. And you can create 3 different card designs and you get 4 of each. So the kit creates 12 cards. You also will get envelopes and a cute box. Then you do need to purchase the stamp set separately. This is the fun stamp set that you can purchase to go along with that card kit. It's called For the Love of Felt. So the project kit you can find online and it's $30, and the stamp set For the Love of Felt is $20. If you have a catalog, you can look at the products on page 201. The second kit that I wanted to highlight is the Seriously the Best kit. And this stamp set that goes with the kit is one of my favorites. And I've used it a bunch on a lot of different cards. I like the size of the stamps, as well as the ability that you can use them on like a rectangle piece of paper, or you can fussy cut them. And I really like that look. So these are the cards that you can make in that kit. The kit makes 16 cards. You get 4 different designs, and so you can make 4 of each card. And it does also come with some envelopes that have this really fun gold print on the inside. And the kit right now is $18 online, so it's on sale. Normally it's $30. It does come with a really cute box that you can store the cards in afterwards, or anything else that you might want to store in it. It's super cute. And then the stamp set is $19, and it is not on sale, but it is so worth every penny. So here's the stamp set, and like I said before, it is one of my favorites, and I'm really, really sad that it's going to be retiring. So if you want either of those card kits, you can click on the online store link below to purchase those, and make sure you do so before June 2nd. So I'm going to be using both of these awesome stamp sets together to create my cards today. So let's go ahead and get started. So I've got my paper, and we're going to be creating 2 cards that are very similar. So we have 2 card bases that are Petal Pink, and they are just your normal card base size, which is 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And you can always find the products that I'm using, as well as the cardstock sizes, in the description box below. So I have 2 of those. I also have 2 1-inch strips, and they are 3.5 inches, or 3 1/4 inches, excuse me, in length. And then I have 2 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 5.5, and we're going to do one for the background and then one for all of our stamping. So let's go ahead and start with the background. The colors we're going to be using for our cards are Crushed Curry, Petal Pink, Mossy Meadow, and Rococo Rose. So the background is done with the Petal Pink, and we created the background using the leaf image from the For the Love of Felt stamp set. So let's go ahead and grab that. So I've got some scrap paper under my cardstock so that when I come off the edge, it doesn't ruin my surface. I've got my Petal Pink ink, and I'm just going to ink that up, and then we're going to create a pattern with this leaf image, and we're just going to go right across our cardstock but every time we stamp, we're going to flip it 180 degrees. And so that's going to give us a fun pattern. And the image kind of feels like it fits inside itself a little bit. So it kind of feels like it's made to do this. So we're just going to continue and repeat this pattern all the way down. And you can, so on the first row, I started on the right side with the leaf image up. And for the second row, I started the leaf image pointing down. And then I'm just continuing to rotate that stamp set and trying to fill in where there might be some gaps. And then again, for the third row, we're going to go up so that we're rotating that stamp. So now that we're done creating our pattern, we're going to cut out this paper to fit our card. And we're going to use the stitched rectangle dies. And I love these dies. I've used them on a lot of projects. There are 13 different sizes of rectangles. And I'm going to use the largest size, which cuts just under 5 1/4 by 4. And then we're going to cut another rectangle, and this one's about 3 3/4 inches by 1 3/4 inches. And so we can either cut those at the same time or separately, but I'm going to go do this right now at my die cutting machine and be right back. So I've gone ahead and ran that through my die cutting machine. And so now I have 2 different pieces that I'm going to use on my cards. We've got a frame shape with the rectangle, small rectangle on the left, and then we have the inside part of that rectangle. And we're going to use this on our second card. So let's put those off to the side, and now we'll do the stamping of the images. So the images I'm using are the flower from the Love of Felt. We're going to be using a greeting congrats. We're going to use this leaf image and the little flowers from the Seriously the Best. And you could use any greeting for this card. So let's start with our Mossy Meadow ink, and we're going to stamp our greeting and our leaves image in that color. So let's start with the leaves. And I need 2 for each card. So I'm just going to stamp them along the top of the cardstock. And I'm going to rotate them so that they will fit a little bit better. Like so. This one, I did not get a good image, so I'm just going to go ahead and stamp another one. So next we're going to do the congrats, and we're going to stamp those on the 1-inch strips. Just going to ink those up in the Mossy Meadow and place them in the center of those strips. And the G is going to come off a little bit, and that's okay. And we're going to do 2 of these. And now we're going to put our Mossy Meadow ink away, and we're going to get our Rococo Rose and our Crushed Curry. And we're going to do both these colors. And you'll notice that in my cards, I've swapped the colors. For this one, I've used Rococo Rose for the large flower and the Crushed Curry for the small. And then for this one, we have the Crushed Curry for the large and Rococo Rose for the small. So we're going to do that now. So let's start with the large image and the Crushed Curry. And we're just going to stamp 3 of those images on our card. Then we're going to do the 3 small in the Crushed Curry. And you can just place those wherever you want. Make sure to clean your stamps before switching to the next ink color. And I love this Simply Chamois. All you need is water, and then it cleans your images really well without leaving any extra residue on your stamps. Now we can do the flowers in Rococo Rose. I love this dusty pink color. It's so pretty. And the 3 little flowers. So we're really squeezing these images onto this paper. We'd had more space if I didn't mess up that image, but that's okay. Okay. I guess I didn't need 3. I just needed 2 of each image. All right, so we've got our images stamped. We needed 4 leaves, 3 large, and actually just 2 of the small. So the next thing we need to do is we're going to fussy cut these images out. I'm going to go ahead and just do 1 of each image, and then I'm going to turn off the camera, finish them up, and then come back and we can put the card together. So I'm going to just speed this up so that you can see how I go about fussy cutting these images. Okay, so you can see how I fussy cut those images out. Not perfect, especially these little ones. It's really hard to perfectly cut those images out. But I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting out the rest of the images, and then we'll come back and put our card together. Okay, so I finished fussy cutting out all those images, and so now we're ready to put our card together. I'm just going to go ahead and fold our card base along the score line, and let's start with the framed card first. So I'm just going to take some adhesive. Now I like using liquid glue. The key here is just not to use a lot, and then to make sure that you press it with a bone folder. So this is just going to go centered in the card so that you have an even border around the frame of cardstock. I'm just going to shift it up slightly. And then take that bone folder and just smooth everything out. And that's going to keep your card from being bumpy from the glue. So just make sure it's nice and smooth. If you need to, you can open it and smooth it this way just to kind of protect your front. Now we're going to add our elements. And we're going to use 2 bunches of leaves, but behind those leaves, I've added some gold foil, and I've punched those using the sprig punch. And so I'm just going to flip that over, put in some gold foil paper, and punch 2 of those. Actually, I'm just going to do 4 because we need 2 for each card. So there's 2. 3, and then I'm going to trim this and punch the last one. 4, okay? So I'm just going to add one of these sprigs behind each grouping of leaves, and I'm just going to do that with a little glue dot at the base of each sprig. And then that's just going to go behind the group of leaves. And you can rotate that group so that that sprig is in different locations for each one. So we're just going to let that dry for a minute, and let's go ahead and add our greeting. So our greeting is popped up with some dimensionals. I'm just going to place 3 of them on the back, 2 on each end and 1 in the middle. And then this is going, so there's about a 1/2 inch opening here at the bottom, and then it's centered on the card. Now our sprigs and our leaves are going to go behind our greeting. And so just add a little bit of glue to the back. And if you like using glue dots, you could use those here as well. And the first one is going to go here on the left, and we do want them to go up a little bit higher. And then the second one is coming a little bit lower. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off this stem so that it doesn't peek out from underneath the greeting, because this one is going to come in lower and it might hit that dimensional that's under there as well. Okay, so you're going to add the greeting and then add the 2 bunches of leaves. Next, we're going to add our 3 yellow flowers for this card, and we're just going to kind of place them in front of or behind these groupings of leaves. So the first one's on the left, and then we've got one at the top that's in the middle, just kind of behind everything. And then our last one is on the right, and you can kind of have it be behind or in front, whatever you like. Okay, and now we're going to add our little flowers, and you can do that with your glue, or you can use some glue dots. And I'm going to go ahead and use glue dots for this, and I'm going to use my pickup tool, and I'm just going to place a glue dot wherever I want one of those little flowers. So I'm going to do 3 in each bunch. So we're going to kind of place them kind of like a triangle shape on each grouping. Then I'm going to remove that paper backing. Then I'm going to use my pickup tool again. I'm going to pick up that Rococo Rose flowers and add them to my glue dots. And there's no right or wrong in how you're adding them. So they don't need to be in a certain direction or anything. You're just placing them on top. And I love my pickup tool for these reasons. That's a yellow one. Because it makes picking up tiny little things like this super easy. There it is. Okay, so those flowers are in our little leaf bunches. And then the last thing we need for this card is a bow. And we're going to do a double bow. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now I've got some crushed curry twine, and this is retired. It's not available anymore, but I thought it was super cute. If by chance you don't have something like this, you could use just the white baker's twine. I don't know if that's still available. That is retiring as well. Or just some linen thread. That's not retiring. That will still be available. And so we're going to cut 16 inches of that. So this one was wrapped around cardstock, and so it has these little folds in it. So to get rid of those, I just kind of run my finger over them until it kind of smooths them out a little bit. So I'm just going to do that for a minute. And that just helps my bow so that when I'm tying it, I don't get some weird kink in the bow. So to make a double bow, what I do is I have 16 inches of twine or linen thread. I fold it in half and then I just make a bow from that. So now I have 8 inches that's doubled up and I'm just going to tie a bow. So make sure you try to pull on those threads at the same rate so you get a bow that has the same size of loops on the top, so you don't get like one small one and one big one. And then go ahead and you're just going to trim that one at the bottom. And then if you like to have long tails, you can keep a long tails or you can cut them. And that's just going to go there at the base of the congrats. You can use your liquid glue or a glue dot. And I think I'm going to use a glue dot for this one. And then just adhere it right there. And I am going to just trim those that are coming off a little bit so they're not going too far beyond my card. Okay, so that card's all done. And we're pretty much going to do the exact same thing for our card number 2. We're just using a different background. We're going to be using just that inside part for that background piece. So we're going to fold our card base. You're going to add that background piece. Remember, keep your glue light. And then you're going to place it in about the same place as the hole for your first card is. So it's about an even from the top to the bottom and on the left. And use your bone folder to smooth out that glue. You're going to add your congrats with some dimensionals. And it's again going for about a 1/2 inch above the base of that rectangle and centered on your card. You're going to add the gold sprigs to the back of your leaves just for a little bit of bling. And again, you can like rotate them so that they're kind of showing in different places. And then you're going to add them behind your congrats. And you're going to keep them in the same kind of places. So one's up a little higher and it's just off to the left of that rectangle. And then one's a little lower. So I'm going to just trim that stem so that it can fit behind. And it's just on the right side of the rectangle, like so. Now we're going to add our flowers. This first one we'll put on the left. Then we'll place one in the middle. And then we'll have one here on the right. Let's go ahead and add our little yellow flowers with some glue dots. And then add those little yellow flowers on top of the glue dots. Like that. Now we'll just do a double bow again with that crushed curry baker's twine. Go to 16 inches. You're going to smooth out any kinks that you might have. And then fold it in half and tie a bow. So let's go ahead and we can just trim this right about here and place it on our card with a glue dot. Okay, so that card's all done. So when we use one background for two cards, these cards can come together really quickly, and they can look very different even though we're using a very similar layout design. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, like, and share. Visit creativechelsea.com for a free tutorial of this project and to purchase the supplies needed. Have a creative day. Bye.